Yes, welcome to another edition of Step Out with Oscar Bimpong. And today I have got a powerful guest that is going to be on the show to help us discuss a powerful topic in terms of his entrepreneurial journey, the challenges he has faced, where he is and where he wants to be. And I can tell you it's going to be an exciting journey today. I want you to share this to a friend, share it to a page, share it to a group, and share it with all your friends. So if you're on this page, we'll urge you to share this. And before we go on, I want to really talk to you briefly about what T2i TV is all about and what Step Out is all about. Now, T2i TV is a TV program that is meant for everybody, but we're with a strategic focus on the African market. And we have seen that there is a lot of entertainment, there is a lot of sports, there is a lot of politics going on in Africa, but less attention is given to educational programs. And our aim is to really bring education to our people. So if you are somebody that wants to learn, if you are somebody that wants to read a book in 30 minutes, you are somebody that wants to read a book in 30 minutes through somebody's story, you need to be on this page. We are here every Wednesday and we are here every Saturday. We're planning to add a Monday to it, where we are going to interview young people that are making a difference in our generation. Now we are going to interview people from all walks of life, from Africans, people from other races that are impacting the African continent, and people, young people that are making a difference. So T2i TV, we are here to deal with you with our 4 E's. Our 4 E means that we engage, we educate, we enlighten, and we empower. Now, we believe that engagement leads to education, and education leads to enlightenment. And if you are enlightened, then you are empowered to succeed. Because of that, we have designed 4 main TV programs for you. The first one is what we are on today, and that is Step Out with Oscar Bimpong. And Step Out with Oscar Bimpong is where we interview experts, consultants, and people making a difference in our generation with a strategic focus on Africans. The second one is what we call SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. The third one is what we call the Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people that against all odds, they are making a difference in our world. And the last one is Step Out Author's Corner. If you are written a book and you want to share what the book is all about, this is the platform for you. So I've seen an exciting journey ahead. Now, because of COVID-19, online is the new game, is the new generation. The internet now has really taken a different dimension. And if you really want to learn, this is the platform that you have to be on. Now, who do I have on the hot seat today? This is a man I've known for some years now. My second award in the UK, he was one of the biggest personalities over there. And that was the time I met him. And since then, he has been a senior brother to me. We have engaged in several occasions. He has been on my radio show before back in the days. And today he is here on T2i TV. And who is this person that I'm talking about? This person is the author of Compassionate Capitalism. If you haven't read this book, just go straight to Amazon to buy this book because you'll be more than inspired. He is the man that turned 150 no's to 1 yes. And he's the founder and CEO of Buy to Let Cars, Wheel for Sure, and Pay Go Cars. Who is this young man, this gentleman that I'm talking about? He is the person of Reginald Larry Cole. Please welcome to T2i TV, and please welcome to Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, and you are live on T2i TV.
Good evening.
How are you doing, sir?
Fantastic and getting better.
Wow.
How are you
doing? Very good. And we want to apologize to all our viewers for starting late. We had some few technical challenges, but at the end of the day, they say the best thing is to always show up. So we have shown up and we are here to impact lives. How has your day been, sir?
My day, I was looking forward to this. My day has been mostly resting, and having a few discussions about things like this, basically. But yeah, that's how I spend my day today, just resting. I was looking forward to this, to be fair with you. Yeah. How about you?
Everything is fine. I've also been looking forward, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for today's interview. I've got so much text messages and so much WhatsApp saying that, look, they will be on. So I think it's a step in the right direction that you have honored our invitation. And I know that is your passion to really change lives and impact lives, share your knowledge and your experience with the youth and anybody that wants to learn. And I really appreciate that you have given yourself up for this. And I know there is more to come.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Now let's go straight to business.
Yes.
I want you to tell me briefly, if somebody is seeing you for the first time, who is Reginald Larry Cole?
The first thing I'll tell you there is, number one, I'm a child of God. Number two, I'm a father. Number three, I'm a fiance. Number four, I'm a director of a few companies. And yeah, and I'm one of those people that is putting it out there, not because we want to impress or do anything other than to tell people, you know what, it is possible and you can do it too, basically. Are you there, Oscar? I'm here, but I can't see my host. He disappeared in the big bad world of the internet.
Yes. I gave you the white screen,
Oh, you gave me the white screen. Fantastic. No, but yeah, that's who I am. That's my passion, is to try to enlighten the best way I was enlightened by other people. We don't have all the answers. We just want to encourage each other so we can move forward.
Now tell me about yourself when growing up.
My what?
About yourself when growing up.
Oh, so I grew up in a very, very posh setting. We had massive compound with 3 houses there. Every fruit that you can think of, from guava to orange juice to oranges, all of that stuff was there in this compound. It was like the Garden of Eden. My father was the managing director for the tobacco company in that part of the world, and we had everything going. I'm telling you about everything. I mean, when my mom used to get mad on, with my dad, she would just get up and get to Freetown and fly to England and come do some shopping. That's how much, Yeah, those were the days. But then my dad had a situation where one of the topics, I saw your man, I Am Freedom, posted something on his Instagram today. One of the things that we need to face, tribalism, is what got my dad to resign his position. So he resigned. He's that sort of guy. He would rather walk away than be killed. And he started his own farm. In his first harvest, he won 5 different awards around the world for his tobacco, his onions, his peppers. And obviously, when you do that, the president wanted to play a game with my dad, and my dad said no. So basically, back then in Sierra Leone and much of the dictatorships that were going on in that time, some are still going on, they make your life a misery. And they made our lives very, very miserable. So by the time I was in Form 2, which is about 12 years old, maybe 13, whatever that is, we were eating 1 meal a day, which was just white rice. Can you picture this, Oscar? White rice and sugar as a sauce.
Wow.
Yes.
So we can say that tribalism brought your dad down, isn't it?
100%.
Wow.
100%.
I always say that the twin brother of racism is tribalism.
Absolutely.
Yes, it works hand in hand. So if you are tribalistic, then it means that there's no difference between you and a racist.
100%. And this is what the people need to understand. You know, if you're a tribalist, then you can't even complain when somebody does you a disservice and say racism, because it's the same effect. It's the same effect. You know, people are held back. Why? Because what? Because they speak in a different tone. You know, as Bob Marley says, you know, the isms and schisms of life. And this helps me actually because of that experience. It helps me to deal with racism, because I know it's just fear of the unknown. So you don't know, and you think the best way to act is to put down the people. But then I justify it to myself when I talk about Northern Ireland. Well, that's blue-eyed blonde killing blue-eyed blonde. You talk about the Middle East, olive skin killing olive skin. So it's an ism. And until we get to know each other and try to understand about each other, it's something that will keep going on. It's an ism. That's all it is.
Definitely. All right, let's move forward. So when did entrepreneurship first came into mind?
Yes, it was in well, to be honest with you, I've always had that kind of zeal to become an entrepreneur, but you know, you didn't have the capital and so on. So I got involved in the Amway business in the 90s, early 90s. And I'll tell you what, that's the best education that I've ever had. I hardly made any money, but the people I met, you know, people like Stormy Norman Schwarzkopf, people like Oliver North, people like Gladys Knight, and Les Brown, all these people, they helped shape my thinking. So I was in the Amway business where we read books, we listened to tapes, we attended these seminars. They were not cheap. I remember one time, one seminar cost me just to attend was $400. This is in the 90s. Can you imagine that?
That's a lot of money.
Oh, please. If money doubles every 10 years. So by 2002, that's 800. By 2012, that's 1600, and so on and so forth. But I paid that money as a youth. Why? Because there were people, they had the fruit on their trees. They had the knowledge. They had delivered. So I put myself in a position where I learned from them. So that's where it started. Then I learned certain things within the Amway business that, and that's where this compassionate capitalism came from. That, you know what, I don't have to sell ice to an Eskimo. Nor do I have to sell sand to an Arab. What I have to sell is to give what Oscar needs.
Yes.
That's it. You know, if I decide to charge Oscar a premium for it, well, that's my risk. So I give what Oscar needs, not what he doesn't need. And when you do business that way, so that's where the ethos came from. That I got involved in my first business when I was going to university in 2002. I had to resign my position because the other employees got jealous that my boss saw it fit to give me 3 afternoons off to go to university, London Metro.
Wow.
So I resigned the job and started a company, one-man band, Airport House on the Pearly Way. And what that company did was exactly what I'm talking about, was to address, back then you used to have Yes Car Credit, you used to have these companies.
I think I will come to that. I am moving in stages.
Okay, no problem.
I am moving in stages.
Okay.
Now, let me get to this, right? You came to London at the age of 16.
Yeah.
Such a young age. What were your aspirations? And what even caused you to really get to that level that, look, I want to get out of Sierra Leone and really pursue a different life?
Well, the country was going down, basically. It's still going down. The country was going down. So people that had money, what they would do is send their kids overseas, different places. My sister went to Sweden. My brother came to England. I came to England. And but I guess the question, if we peel the onion layer, the question you're trying to ask is, what gives the determination that a 16-year-old you didn't go wayward? Because I could have done that. You know, I could have had children at that age, because you know I didn't have a parent to look after me or anything like that. But I didn't. I had a job where they used to call me Reginald Overtime Cole.
Wow.
Yes, yeah, that was the name. When somebody called to speak to them, say, "Oh, you want to speak to Reginald over time call?" Because I kept myself busy.
Wow.
I kept myself busy in work. Could have gone the other way quite easily. Could have gone the other way, but for the grace of God. So I bought my first home in Battersea when I was with my brother when I was only 18 years old.
You bought your first home when you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there was no parental help. There was no help to buy. This was straight mortgage, Chelsea Building Society, straight deposits, and that was that. So yeah, so it's always been, you know, I saw what happened to my father. So I've always had that kind of responsibility that I'll do what I can to make life better and easier for myself and for my children. That's it.
But you being called Reginald over time, Larry Cole,
Yes, yes.
is the definition of hard work, right? Right.
Correct.
It means that you cannot take hard work out of the equation, right?
No, sir. No, sir. Don't let nobody kid themselves to say, "Oh, work smart and not hard." You got to do both.
You have to do both.
You have to do both, especially when you're starting out.
Yes.
So when you're starting out, you have to do both. There will come a time when money starts. The smart workers are people who put themselves in a position where money starts working for them. One of my mentors, Jim Fraccaroli, used to say to me, "Your money would work harder than your back ever will." But you have to dig deep to understand that.
Yeah.
Unless you have the money, eventually, right? And that money would work for you, your investments and so on. Doors will be open for you. But the mistake people are making, that I've seen, they're thinking work smart. No, when you start now, you have to do both, smart and hard. So basically, one day when I moved back from the United States, when I came back to England, I met two, watch this story. So there was me with a thick African accent, okay? And there was a West Indian boy, mixed race, and there was another guy, another guy, Jamaican guy. We started work on the same day. When I came from America, I bumped into one at Sainsbury's in Streatham and another one in Wandsworth. So I bumped into these people. So I asked him, "How's life been?" Well, one of them had been to jail. The other was still trying to get things going. Here's my point. We all had the same opportunity. By the time I was in that job that I had when I was age 16, by the time I was 18, I was already the production manager in the clean room. So I was the production manager where I had two shifts that I controlled. About 30 or so people used to work there. By the time I was leaving, Oscar, this has happened to me a few times, by the way. When I tell my bosses I want to leave, they don't want me to leave.
Wow.
So I just had to leave. It's happened a few times, as recently as 2010. That's same. In fact, even before we set up this business, I went to my boss. I said, ill health. I had gout, to be honest with you, but I just said, "Oh, my doctor told me, I can't be doing this anymore, blah, blah." The guy said, "Listen, we'll create a position for you and put you upstairs,
Wow.
but we don't let you go." That's what you're talking about.
Wow.
When you leave a job, when you leave a job, the people should feel sad that you left, and you should always be welcome. I don't see that in a lot of people today.
No, not a lot of people. Not a lot of people at all. And that is what I really wanted to ask. You talked about you getting to this country with a thick accent and an African and getting on a job, getting promotion. Now, why is it that some of us from African background and even our children born in this country, in this abroad, some of them don't have the confidence? They have already played themselves down that because they are black, because they are coming from Africa, they cannot hold certain positions, they cannot run successful business. I think this is a bit of a challenge for us. What are you going to tell them?
Okay, so let me tell them this. My missus is here with me. She's a very strong woman, very agile, and so on. But God forbid, if we were to have a skirmish just now, I expect me as a man to override her. Nothing wrong with her, but I could overcome her, right?
Yes.
You know, blah, blah. Now, here's my point I'm trying to make, and I've been telling people this from the 80s. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. If you're black, accept it that you have to work 10 times as hard.
Wow.
Just pay that price easy for yourself. That you're the one that's going to be on the showroom floor when everybody else is down the pub, because they're going to pick on you. You're the one that will have to do that over time. It's just the fact of life. But when you sat in my case, when you sat in your Rolls Royce or your jet, it doesn't matter that you work 10 times as hard. You've got to the end. But to sit down trying to compare yourself to say, oh, well, he's white, so why must he get away with it? It's none of your business. It's none of your business. You know, you're not going to sit down here asking yourself, well, why does Prince William have such an easy life and all? No. Create your own life. If I stand I got a gymnasium downstairs in our basement, right? Okay, but look, I'm not built. Why am I not built heavy? Because I'm not willing to pay the price to be built heavy.
Yeah.
I'm not willing, you know, every once in a while I go down there, jump on the bike, you know, maybe lift some dumbbells or whatever. I'm not willing to pay that price. But there are people out there in the world who are willing to pay the price.
Yes.
You know, and one of the things that you can see that come through is like in the area of sports. Okay, in the area of sports, you know, you could not stop Usain Bolt. There's no racism there.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
There's no racism there. Why? Because he worked 10 times as hard.
I think working 10 times as hard has really got me. And I think that is the fundamentals, that is the basics that we need to understand, that it is there. You need to work harder to earn it. And I think a lot of people are not ready to work harder to earn it.
I'm a testament to that. You know, I've got companies, 30-something employees. If I tell you the people that have let me down are black people. You know, you put them in a position of trust, you put them in a job, whatever, and they just take pardon my language, just take the piss. and you just think, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Wow.
You see, so that there is, for me, is one of the simplest things I could say. That's what is letting people down. And they don't even understand that they're not only letting themselves down, they're letting their race down. They're not only letting their race down, they're letting their family legacy down by not pay the extra price. And it's done. It's like in Africa, when we have malaria, you go meet your doctor. They give you this thing, a bitter pill, Aralene or whatever, but you take it to feel well.
Yes.
You're not going to sit there arguing with the doctor and say, oh, no, I'm not taking this. You're going to die.
Yeah, you take it, you're going to itch for 3 days, you still take it and get well.
Exactly. So the price is there to be paid. At the end of the day, I don't care how you twist it, how you change it. They say, you know, you can start calling slavery. You can start saying, well, why did they go and disturb our land? You can say all those things. At the end of the day, let's face fact. As far as Europe is concerned, it's a white man's land. Accept it and move on.
Wow. This is really powerful, and trust me, I like what you are saying. And I think Darren Cummings is saying, "Yep, Reggie, that's right." Yes. We're going to. Some people have asked some questions on the page, and we're going to answer them as we go along. But Reggie, I want to ask you this: why are you so passionate about cars that almost all your business is in relation to cars? What has cars done to you? What has cars done to you? Have they offended you?
No, I tell you what. Okay, this is a very good question as well, especially for the young people.
Yes.
When I was in Sierra Leone, I could sit on my veranda. I could tell you the registration numbers of cars, who owned it, what specification they had, and so on. So to answer your question, because I was the last one in our family, my mom, God bless her, she would not let me play sports, hard sports, because she didn't want to come and say, "Oh, your leg's broken" or whatever. So I had lots and lots of toy cars. I could create my own army with my toy cars. I could create some sports cars. I could create the fun. So I've always loved cars. So it's just a natural thing that the three things that I love, I really do, believe it or not, I love people, I love cars, and I love the money that's within it.
Wow.
That's it.
And I'm like, will for sure buy to let cars. And I'm like, this man is so in love with cars. And I said, look, I'm going to ask you this question because see, in business, you have to position yourself. Even within the industry, you have to position yourself, even still within the industry. And I think you've done it so well. And I'm now shifting to, before I go on into your business journey, I just want to ask you this. In 2009, the Sun newspaper reported that you almost went suicidal.
Yes.
You went on benefits for the first time.
Yep.
Please share that experience with us.
Okay, so it started. It's like anything, you got to go back. It started in 2008, right? So I was at university, London Metro. I built my company from 2003, December 1st. I mean, who starts a business on December the 1st? You know what I mean? December the 1st, 2003, I started my business while at university. Like I told you, I had to resign my job. So while at university. So I finished university with a 2-1 in business in 2006, I believe it was. And that same year, the business had turned over its first million.
Wow.
So by 2008, I was trending in my first quarter. Imagine a business that 2 years earlier turned over its first million. In my first quarter, I've got the accounts here. I had done $1 million. So we were ready to roll. And then the credit crunch happened.
Wow.
So how did the credit crunch work? The credit crunch, I was a broker for finance, and then I got people the cars. So you would come to me and say, get me finance, I'll get you the finance. Then we'd sit down, again, talking about compassionate capitalism. I didn't have any stock because I wanted Oscar to come in and tell me, this is what I'm looking for. Then we would sit down and say, well, okay, how much can you afford? You might say, well, 200, 250, and so on and so forth. So anyway, so 2008, April 15, all the funding dried up for my customers. So I had customers, cars were at the auction to buy, BCA, but no banks. Wow. And silly me, I kept all my staff, Oscar. I had about 100 and something thousand pounds in the business account. But because I kept all my staff, because we didn't know what the world was coming to, so you pay them salary every month. And then obviously that's when I started my journey to ask investors and so on. But the thing that got me was when my kids were taken away from me, because one of the things that I said at the top of the conversation, I could have had children at a very, very young age, but I was desperate to say, as far as God can help me, I will not have kids I cannot take care of. So that's when the quote unquote, I don't believe I was clinically depressed, but I believe the fact that I was home by myself, I was just either going to investors to show them this plan, or I was going to the dole queue. That was it. So you go get my 64 pounds a week or whatever it was. I come over, I buy 6 cans of Cronenberg. I walk to my house and I was locked in. So it became a situation where you just thinking, Lord have mercy, what have I done? What can I do different? So yeah, 2009, because that situation happened where my kids were taken away from me, we'll just leave it at that. Don't want to give anybody any bad name for anything. I felt, well, there's no point carrying on.
Wow.
But again, this is why it's important. Like some of us will risk. Because Oscar, if I tell you, or if my missus were to tell you how many heat I get for sharing my story, and people say all kinds of things. Oh, you're showing off. You're this. No. Because you see, when that situation happened, there wasn't a black person in the United Kingdom that I knew or had access to that motivated me. Because I don't know how to play football, I don't know how to sing. So those didn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? But there was a tall man with a skinny name that was running through 2008, was running for the biggest office of them all. We all know that name, Barack Obama.
Yes.
So that gave me encouragement. Of course, I read his books. Okay, Dreams from My Father, and the other one, I forgot the name now. But anyway, I read those books, and I found out that Barack, I'm telling you right now, pound for pound, I don't know all your history, but I'm going to guarantee that you had a better childhood than Barack, what he went through. But he was able to collect himself, you know, becoming a president of the Harvard Law Review. You know, Michelle, I know the story because you put it in the book. Michelle Obama was against him running for second term for, I think it was like a community leader. He had lost the election and everything else. But he had the courage to say, no, this is what I want to do. And that led to, one thing led to another. And his speech in 2004 for, what's his name, Kerry? Yeah, is it Kerry? John Kerry? John Kerry, yeah. I think it was John Kerry, yeah. Yeah, his speech for 2000, that's when the world saw who Barack Obama was. And that's when they said, well, there must be a space for this guy. You know, again, just little things like that. You don't know, nobody has it all figured out. But you take your steps and you take them, like what we're saying. It's about hard work, it's about smart work. And you take your chances. You don't know who's watching.
But I think, you know, these are some of the things, that is why we have created this platform. If you were sorry to say a white guy sitting here speaking, every black person that is watching is going to believe what they are saying, and they are going to earn their respect.
Yep.
When it comes to ours, then we want to tell that the person is showing off.
Yep.
Whilst the person is sharing. I spoke to you last 3 days, last 4 days. There is one thing you told me. And trust me, you see, man or men are made by words. And it's not about what we don't have, but it's about the words we say to people.
Yep.
They are more powerful than gold.
Yep.
Maybe you have forgotten, your missus would have been there when we were speaking because you were making reference to her. And you said, Oscar, I'm going to back you with everything I have to authenticate your platform.
Yes.
To me, this is bigger than gold.
Yes. Yes.
Because such a man with an experience who have passed through the mill to achieve what he has achieved, if you haven't passed through that road, you don't have any warrant to judge.
Absolutely.
Because you don't get there by chance. If you can get there by chance, then all of us would have been there already.
Yep. Absolutely. And you know what's funny, Oscar? You see, you cannot hate what you want to be a part of. Let me explain that. You can't sit down and say all kind of negative things about somebody's life because they've gone ahead. But you're looking for that same life. Somehow the way the universe works and somehow the way God Almighty works, you don't get it. I'm sorry. Because you cannot be a part of something. You know, it's like I remember one time somebody that talked about me and money. One time, eventually, the person came to me and said, "Oh, can you give me some money?" I had heard in the grapevine. I said, "Why do you want to defile yourself? You're the one that you see." Oh God, let me ask you a question. Do you think Usain Bolt, when he ran his for the Olympics, it was about money or just about proving to himself that he can do it?
Of course, it was his passion, his drive. He wants to prove that yes, he can do it.
The money is
important. You go ahead and do it. And I think this is one of the problems of our African people.
Yeah.
If somebody starts something, instead of us supporting the person, we rather try to bring the person down.
Yeah.
And it's all because of one reason, and that is, if I cannot do it, he shouldn't be able to do it.
Absolutely.
And this is why we are not progressing, and this is why we are not. Look at the US, what is happening, that they are killing black people. Always say black people don't have a community. We don't have an economy. Nope. We don't have a system. That is why every time we are the only voice that is not heard.
Correct.
Do we see them killing Indians? Do we see them killing the Chinese? No. Why? Because they have got a strong community.
Correct.
We don't. And because of that, we are always struggling. And until we start uniting, we are going nowhere.
Absolutely.
And I've said this. There is a lot of entertainment in Africa. There is a lot of politics in Africa. There is a lot of entertainment. This platform is going to stand on the feet of education.
Good man.
And that is where we are going to move Africa to.
Absolutely.
That people, when they switch their phone on, their mindset will change on chasing entertainment and comedy, but come to learn something and really use this to achieve their lives.
Well, check this out. What a lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that behind the entertainment, my friend, they don't know this one thing. You see, one of the key words in this life is to just sit down and think. To sit down and think. A lot of people don't know that behind all of entertainment, I'm going to say this, at the risk of anything, I'm going to say this. One of the reasons why we have our sisters on videos, butt naked, defiling who they are, it's because of the operations behind it. Do you know, I don't wish to create anything other than the fact that it is, all of those entertainments is owned by Jews. Can you see that? So they don't mind us singing that we're going to kill each other. Carry on. They don't mind somebody sitting on the swimming pool butt naked. Yeah, do it. If it makes money for us at your cost, crack on. So we need to sit down and think. We need to sit down and think. You're dead right. One of the things I've said from when I was young. Look at those Indians that came, that Idi Amin kicked out from Uganda.
Look at what they've done.
Look at what they've done. Nearly every millionaire, from that race, came through that 1977. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you short, but Reggie, do you know when they were coming from Uganda, they came with nothing. They came with only the things they could carry.
Yeah, that's it.
But these people now came in and they turned the economy of the United Kingdom around.
Not only that, one time when I lived in Tooting, I was sub 18 that time. Anyway, there was a shop where, let me show you something. There was a shop that I used to go buy my beer. Okay, in Garrett Lane. Every time I went in there, if it was after school time for the kids, there'll be their children there. So they're teaching their children. But not only that, these kids were speaking fluent language in their own native tongue. And I see something that we have in this culture, where we almost say to the children, "Oh, don't speak that language. Only speak English." So now, when you're dealing with an Indian, by the way, those people became very, very successful. They're one of the millionaires, starting from one shop. When you're dealing with an Indian, between them, their accountant, and their children, they can lose you because if you don't understand the language, you're lost.
Yes.
You understand? They can lose you before they give you what you want. But we've been so brainwashed that we don't appreciate our culture. We only pay lip service to it. We don't even appreciate our language. So I tell people, so I tell people this. I mean, you guys, the Ghanaian race, I know everything is not 100%, but trust me, the history that I know about Ghana before Rollins took over to where you guys are now, it's night and day. It's night and day. So you've made some fantastic progress. And I'm not particularly involved in Ghana, but I do like, maybe it's because I just started paying attention to what Nana is saying to the world. Like, hey, listen, don't complain about immigration. Don't complain about this. And yes, we'll take your aid for now, but really what we need is to build an economy where we put value into our own resource before we send them overseas. He's saying the right things. I hope nobody attacks him for that, because this is where we are now. We're in a special place that we've never been before. We now have the East grabbing Africa resource. Look at what's just happened with this COVID. Yeah, both the key Western countries, and as far as I see it, the UK and USA, they almost brought us to our knees for something as simple as mask.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that tension happening. So we believe it or not, the Bible does not lie when it says the last shall be the first and the first shall be the last. Wow. But if we have serious players, whether it's politics, whether it's things like you're doing right now with this thing, and other areas, then we're able to come to that negotiating table to say, you know what, enough is enough. Enough is enough. We too are human beings, and you've taken far too much advantage of everything that we have. Please, let's not do this anymore. Let's build our people. You're killing them in America. They're busy stabbing themselves in London, in the UK. Where are we going?
Where are we going? That's the question. Where are we going? Yes. Let's go. I mean, let's continue with our business. Let me ask you this, right? How difficult was it losing your business, a business that turned around to £1 million within a year or two, and later you have to go back to seek for a job as an employee? How difficult was that?
Okay, so 2008 April, I started looking for investors, right? So when my son Dexter was born in April 2009, I thought, okay, you know what? I'll stay home and just go for the investment. If I had the investment, Oscar, you there, yeah? If I had the investment, I would have taken it, but it never came. So 2010, when he was 1 year old, I sat down one day in my house and sent CVs to car dealers. Oscar, was it difficult? Yes. But when you have a responsibility, whether it's difficult or not, it's more difficult being a bum. You keep looking at your daddy, you're not going to work. You're not doing anything. You're just sitting down, going around that corner to get your 64 pounds. That's the difficult part. So it wasn't that difficult. The first job I had was at Ford in Wimbledon. Again, compassionate capitalism. I did not like you there, Oscar.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. Did not like what they were doing, in terms of customers. Like I say, my job is to defend my boss's profit because he's taking the risk. But don't expect me to be a liar. You tell a customer that you're going to do this and then you don't. That is not me. I'm a salesperson, like I say, not a thief. You've read it in the book as well. And then so I applied, and then I applied one night. There wasn't a job going. I created the situation. I wrote a nice. Talking about this, I see people apply to me for jobs. They just send you their CV. They're so lazy. No cover letter, not saying anything. So I wrote a nice cover letter. And another lesson to share with you guys, that I practice what I preach. Oscar, you know what that firm did? You know what that firm did? They asked me, because it was selling Land Rovers and Range Rovers to millionaires. They asked me to come in and prove myself for a day without pay. Now, what if I had said, I'm not doing it?
Yes.
Oh, this is injustice.
Yes, you can easily say that.
Sorry? You can easily say that.
Yeah.
I went in. By 4:30 that day, God help me, a couple from New Zealand, they were going back to New Zealand, and they wanted to buy a Discovery. They came in, put a deposit down for the car. All what I knew then, they called me into the office and said, well done, we've observed you today. Yeah, we'll give you the job. That's what I had to do. The other thing I had to do, I don't know if my co-director Scott is on here. I found out later, Scott came later after me, maybe a couple of months later or maybe a month, that this job, think about this, was given a guarantee. They were given first 3 months guaranteed wage. I had to earn every penny.
Wow.
Fact. So for me, do you know, I've had two of my ex-bosses, can you believe this, in the same Range Rover, who were managers, come work for me at this buy-to-let Cars and Wheels for sure.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah. But here's the deal. Sorry. Here's the deal. When I was there, one day we sat down, we were talking in my head office in Godstone. He says, you know why we came to work for you? I said, what? He said, you were one of the people that was never in the office for anything. You know why? Because I have self-respect. Right? If you're paying me, I'm going to do the work. Honest day's work, honest day's pay. So yeah, that came up. But these are the stuff that we're talking about. I don't know how we're going to. Anyway, yeah. So was it difficult? Well, of course, you swallow your pride, but the responsibility was more than the difficulty to get the job.
Because the reason why I ask you that question is that most of our people, when they get to a certain level and they come down, they cannot humble themselves to really stay there and build again.
Very true.
They rather feel so big, they rather feel they are above it, and they think that, look, they deserve better even whilst they are falling. And I think this is a typical example for anyone that is watching us to understand that no one is meant to stay at the top forever. So when one day you fall, you need to stay there, pick up the pieces, and start rising again. But this can only be done when you have got humility like Reginald.
Absolutely. And you see, you can't go into that job, and when your boss says, hey, go move that car, that parking lot, go do this, you say, do you know who I am? No, I tell you what, if who you are is who you are, you won't be there. So just humility, humble pie, eat it and go. You know, so yeah, that's it. You know, so that's my that's how I felt about it. And as a matter of fact, you know, I remember, I'll tell you one story. When I had the previous business, so I had a few cars. I had my E-Class Mercedes, I had my C-Class, I had my Lexus all at once, and I had my SL500. Everything had to go, right? Everything had to go. Anyway, so my first assignment when I started the job that they gave me was go start that Range Rover. I still remember the registration plate. It was LD10 YRR, brand new. They said, go start that Range Rover, warm it over, blah, blah. It was black. Wait for this. It was black with white interior, Oscar. And I said a quiet prayer that day as I sat in that car. I said, God, if you help me get back on my feet, I'm going to buy this same type of car. And I've had four of them since.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you use every situation that you face yourself with and try to look for the positive. Try to look for the positive around it, because there is good in everything if you search for it.
Yes, exactly.
You know? Yeah. So, yeah,
I always say something. I say, in the word misfortune, there is fortune.
Absolutely.
And in the word impossibility, there is possibility.
Absolutely.
It's about how you see it.
Yes.
Some people see misfortune, others see the fortune in the misfortune. And it's all in the mind, how you see it. People have got only eyesight, but they don't have vision. And until you have got vision to see beyond the impossible, then there's no way you can succeed. And trust me, for me, I respect people like you because you are not greedy.
No.
You are sharing your path with other people for them to understand the ups and downs of the journey. And everybody that is now going to venture into business or whatever vision, after listening to you, they should understand how the journey is. Because you are more like a Joseph, isn't it?
Yeah. You see? Sorry, say that again.
You are more like Joseph in the Bible.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, please.
One day you were comfortable at Potiphar's house, the next day you were in prison, isn't it?
You don't know how close that description is. Even the story, something that I'm not going to put out here in public, but something with family, all that was cut off. You know, can you imagine you going through all this, your family that you've known that cut you off because somebody misunderstood something? All of that happened in this crazy time. All of that happened. One of my best friends, in fact, I say one of my best friends, he's my closest friend. Anyway, a few years ago, I went to Washington, D.C., and he came to meet me for the first time. He was one of the people that facilitated one of the 150 no's, but he let himself down. He came to meet me. He said, "You know what, Reg?" He says, "Most people would never speak to me ever again in our lives." He said, "But you're just a different kettle of fish." He was supposed to be there for an hour. He had to call his boss and say, "Boss, I'm going to stay." It was there nearly for like 9 hours. We were just chatting. I said, "Well, I'm not holding grudges, man. Listen, it was a deal that didn't happen. It didn't happen. What's the problem? Let's move on. Look, here you are. We're sitting down, drinking and eating. No problem."
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And now we move forward, isn't it? But some of our African brothers cannot forgive.
Oh, yes. That's where the hate and everything comes from, isn't it? That's where it comes from. So, we need to. One of the questions I've been asking this week, we've been talking to quite a few top people this week about politics and everything else. We have all the information we need. It's 2020. We should know how to live. We should know how to behave with each other, but we don't.
No.
We don't.
No.
So this is the challenge. You want to reach out to people and say, "Come on, how long? We know the game.
We can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can.
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt." I saw your clip earlier, and with that gentleman, the IT guy at the NHS, making such a valid point. He said, one of the problems we have is you now have to choose between votes or between doing something for the long term. What a problem that is. Why? Because the man does not see, the man that you expect to vote for you does not see your long-term plan. They want it yesterday.
Yes, they don't.
And we're just constantly in this mess. Like I say, when people talk to me about Sierra Leone, or Sierra Leone is sweet. I said, hold on a minute. How can you sit in Mayfair in your beautiful house on Park Lane and your toilet has not been flushed for 50-something years? How can you then say to Oscar, "Oh, my home is sweet, it's in Mayfair"? It don't rhyme, mate. I'm sorry. You're trying to confuse people, but it doesn't make sense.
Wow.
We need to look after. I'm telling you, this generation here right now, if we don't sort some and take some certain steps, I think we're going to go backwards.
I'm telling you, and this is the time for some of us to rise up. Now, let's go on, Reggie. I want you to tell me about your ideology of business. Now, I've looked at your business model, and it is what I call the reverse psychology. When everybody sees that this is the norm of business, Reggie will go on the backside and do the business from there.
Correct.
And a typical example is Wheel for Sure. Everybody is giving cars to people that have got good credit, but you have decided to give cars that have got people that don't have good credit. When you look at the lifestyle bits,
yes,
instead of the highest bidder getting it, but yours, the lowest bidder that gets it.
Yes.
How do you think to get business ideas, Reggie?
Guy Kawasaki said, find a need and fill that need. If I read it to you here, it's just in front of me here. It's funny you asked that. The best business to start is one that eases a pain. Find that market in pain and cure it. Now, let's talk about Wheels for Sure. What happens out there in the world is you have banks that are financing what we call second and third tier car companies. Okay? Do you know? Oscar, wait, let me take your mind on a journey. Imagine I say, let's go to Ghana. Can you imagine that the person sat in economy is paying more than the person sat in first class? Is that even right to you?
No, it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, here's what they're doing. So these bank finance firms, not only are they giving people cars that are not fit for purpose, they're charging them 50% interest rates as well.
Wow.
So when I looked at this stuff, you know, in April of 2008, April 15th, on that particular day, I had a 999 credit score. By December of 2008, I had 247 credit score. Now, was I a bad person? You show me one person that would have a £500,000 revenue stopped overnight, no warning, that would develop bad credit. Now, here's my point. These people, some of them are nurses, some of them are teachers, some of them serve in the army, maybe something like a divorce, maybe they messed up on a credit card, whatever. Yeah. Does that mean you couple that with punishment as well for them financially? So that's where the thought came from. That number one, I done my dissertation in 2006 on the industry anyway. I studied my dissertation was based on a $50 billion portfolio, $50 billion portfolio in America. And I found the number one reason why people would not pay you is the cars would break down and they felt hard done by. You know, so I thought, well, okay, number one, we're going to have a transparent pricing policy. Nobody's a child. Yeah, when you go to Nando's, they tell you how much the chicken is. They don't want to talk to the manager first and say, well, maybe we'll charge you £20 for this quarter piece of chicken. You know what the price is. So when you go on any of our websites, you see all the prices there. This is what we do. This is what we're going to do for you. That's why all the companies are 5-star rated on Trustpilot and Google. Wow. Because we do what we say we're going to do, even if it costs me.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the thinking. You take this idea, you take your idea. Let me ask you a little question. Let me ask you a loaded question. Who cooks better chicken than the black race?
That's a very good point.
I don't think anybody. Where is our own chain of quote unquote KFCs?
This is interesting, isn't it?
Oscar, there's a book called Self-Made in America by John McCormack, right? I read that book first in 1992. I have shared that book with barbers, and I've had lots of different barbers because you move around, you know. Yeah. I've shared that book with barbers. Not one barber has read it. And I'll tell you something. If I was young,
none of them have read it.
Huh?
None of them have read the book.
Not one. But wait, let me tell you what's in that book.
Wow.
There was a police officer in America, John McCormack, became very successful in Wall Street. He went to work for Wall Street, became very successful. But they were one of the crash of 87. You remember the Black Wednesday or whatever it was? Yeah, they were one of the crash of 87. Anyway, like most men will do, he had left his woman when he had money and said, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, called the woman, said, please, I'm down on my luck, help me. That man built a company in Texas called Visible Changes, which is just a barbershop. In 1992, he was paying his barbers, listen to this, in 1992, $100,000 a year.
Wow.
It's got 17 of them. This is a textbook. You don't even need to go to any university. This is a textbook on how to take one barbershop and make it into success. Not one person has read it. Not one.
It still holds, isn't it? If you want to hide something from the black man,
yes,
you put it in a book.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
But the amazing aspect is that we buy everything and we don't buy books.
Yes. Yes. I'm reading right now. I'm reading 2 books at a time. Here you go. This is From Third World to First by Lee Kuan Yew, and then I'm reading Gary Keller. So one is down in my study, one is upstairs. I'm always filling my mind up with stuff. The knowledge is all here. It's there. But, you know, people, like I say, they just want to download this information. And you can't do that. The mind is a muscle. It needs to be stretched. And it's when you see, it's not It's not memorizing the stuff. It's reading and understanding what it's saying. That's how you internalize it, and you can flesh it out in your own life. That's it.
In my upcoming book, I wrote something on the mind muscle.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Yes, and the more you work on the mind, it's like going to the gym.
Yes.
And the point is that you don't build muscles overnight, but it's about the consistency of your gym.
Yep.
And if you get into the gym and doing the workout also on a consistent basis is what makes the difference.
Absolutely.
Some people go to the gym, but they end up doing nothing.
Yes.
And some people go to the gym, work so hard, and they come back eating junk food.
Yes.
So for you to be successful in your mind, it's the same scenario, it's the same premise. That what do you even feed your mind with?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I think, and today I was very excited when my editor sent me the edited book. So I'm good to go. Mindset Revolution, Re-engineering the Mind from Prison to Purpose. And trust me, Reggie, I'm going to form a movement with this book on the continent, because I believe one of our biggest challenge is our mindset. Because everything shows that we are not poor. So how can we be the most wealthy continent in terms of natural resources but inhabit the most poorest people? It means that there's an error somewhere. And Africa has shown that having resources and succeeding are two different things. It means that you can have the resources and still fail.
My friend.
But it all depends on what is here. The knowledge you have fed your mind with.
Yeah, but the man said here, let me read it to you. Well, just bear with me. Let me find something in the book. Anyway, if I can't find it, I will just, yeah, sorry. I don't want to keep people waiting, but there's a point. Anyway, I'll summarize. It said, yeah. So in Singapore, anyway, it's in the book somewhere. The guy said, we had no resources, none. The only resource I had was my people. When Lee Kuan Yew took over as prime minister, the only resource I had was my people. 2 million people. I know in Ghana you got 22 million there. In Sierra Leone we have 7, with all kinds of resources. How can a man who was in constant battle with China, because China wanted everything, that was one of the places China wanted as well, but it was in constant battle with China. It built a society with 2 million people. You know, Singapore, I don't know about currently, but at one point, they had won the most successful airline in the world for 10 years straight. 10 years straight. That's some going, you know? But everything we have, you know something, Akon talks about this, doesn't he? He talks about this. One of the things about marketing, right? One of the things about marketing, if every December or November coming to December, you see somebody that look like you with a fly on their face asking for £3, sooner or later you're gonna start believing it. You understand? Sooner or later you're gonna start believing it. So the people, it's what I call the bankruptcy of the mindset. We can have all the flashy Mercedes and Range Rovers and Land Cruisers and whatever, but the mindset is not right, because there's so much wealth, man. There's so much wealth in those places. All you gotta do is grab it by the bootstraps and say, let's make something happen.
Wow. All right. I'm really enjoying this, but time is also going. Let me read some comments here. Then we're going to just wrap up quickly.
Okay.
Now, I think Prophet Fitzgerald Johnson says, may God bless you, sir.
Oh,
and Muhammad says, inspirational moment. Darren Cummings says, tell them, Reggie, true talk. Tribalism and racism are just as bad as the other. And tribalism, discrimination is endemic within our Black community, home and abroad. Yes, I think I agree with him. Now, Giles Takin, I hope I've mentioned your name well.
Yeah.
Mr. Cole, what will you say to a group of 16-year-olds at this time who will be entrepreneurs not knowing where to start? Let's go to that before we go to other comments.
Okay. That's a simple one. So, and the way I say simple, again, we go back to the story. You asked me about cars. How come? Cars was my passion. Oscar, if you ask me to help you with car advice, I'm not going to charge you. If you ask me, please, because my passion. So your passion, that's where your future lies. Something that you can do for free. So I'll find out from this young man or young girl, what is your passion at the moment? He might say, well, I like to cut in the council block that I live, I like to cut the boys' hair. Well, start.
Start.
That's it. You know, somebody might say, I like to cook jollof rice. Start. One of the things we should never do in this game of life, when it comes to business and whatever else, let's not wait for all the lights to turn green before we leave home. You will have a long, long wait.
Yes.
So basically, you know, I see people, they want to do business and they think, this is the one that I've even told, spoken to my Christian friends about. Do not say those words, because people, when things don't work out, they say, it wasn't God's plan. Well, let me ask you a little question. Two things I want us to think about and how they grow. Number one is a baby. You're telling me because the woman has to push that baby out and go through that pain, it wasn't God's plan?
That's a good one, Reginald.
Are you telling me that because you bury the seed, the apple seed, and that apple seed has to break through, and even as it's trying to break through, you have weeds all around it that you need to look, dig out the weeds when it's small? Are you telling me that's not God's plan? God is not a magician. Everything is dream, struggle, victory.
Dream, struggle,
struggle, victory. And the point is, can you imagine? I mean, I speak for the ladies that have had children here. If they were told how painful it's going to be before they have that child, how it's going to probably disfigure, how they're going to get stretch marks. No, you take it and you start going down the road. When you get the swollen ankles, well, this is a different day. When you get the morning sickness, this is a different day. It's the same in business.
Yes. Wow.
It's the same.
And you see, from the example that you are making, there is this thing about the Chinese bamboo, right?
Yes.
And the Chinese bamboo is the typical example of what you are making. That when you sow the seed of the Chinese bamboo, it takes 5 years for it to come off the ground. So the fact that you have started a business and that's taking you 5 years and you haven't breakthrough doesn't mean that you are not going to succeed with it. Because
Absolutely.
You see, that becomes your preparation stage and your planning stage and your working hard stage. It's that time that you are like the gold. You are passing through that process in the refinery process. And one amazing thing about the Chinese bamboo is that when it comes off the ground, in 5 weeks, it grows 80 feet.
Absolutely.
Meaning that, as we are saying, what says is not in God's plan. It's just that you weren't dedicated to the vision. It's as simple as that.
Can you imagine? Sometimes when me and my missus fly, so we'll I remember one time, where did we go? We went to Mercia. So we went to Mercia, and the pilot said to us, Mr. Crow, let me pre-warn you, the flight when we came to pick you up was very, very bumpy, and it's going to be even bumpier when we're leaving. So what must the pilot do as they hit turbulence? Do a U-turn? can you believe you got pilots say, we just hit turbulence, so sorry, let's go back. These are the simple things. They said something will confound the wise. These are the simple things wrapped up in just basic common sense. I go through it. I was telling my missus one day I came downstairs and you know, you're trying to do work from home, you're trying to control all your stuff, and there was the ASA writing me to say somebody had complained about my advert. But good luck, you know, as God would have it, I had some emails, so I sent it, and within a few hours, you said, "Oh, yeah, sorry, we'll just wrap that up." So you're going to, just because you get those complaints, or car is involved in an accident, or an employee betrays me, that's happened, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do your business. It's all part of the journey.
Exactly. And Reginald, I always ask this question, that if you are driving and you hit a heavy traffic, do you find an alternative route, or you turn back and go home?
Find an alternative
or
route.
you stay in traffic and just wait to move with the tide?
Either one of the two. But you're not going to do a U-turn and say, oh, damn it, can't go anymore. Can you imagine the baby trying to walk? You know, the baby trying to walk and says, "Oh, this walking business is hard, Dad. I don't think I'm going to be bothered anymore."
I'm tired of walking. Every time I'm falling down.
I'm not going to do it anymore, Dad. Can you imagine?
I'm loving this. Yeah, really, briefly, right? Yes. What do you do when you face challenges in business? What do you do?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to answer the question, but I'm going to give you. I'm going to start off with explaining something. One day, I told my bishop, I said, "Bishop, it's very, very important to us that you don't sit up there in that pulpit and you preach like everything is not, you know, you've got passport to God and everything is clean in your life, and you do." I said, "It's very important for us to know, you know, what frailties you've got yourself." So here's my point. The fact of the matter is, when you got a business and you're responsible for people on your payroll, you're responsible for investors' money. When things don't go right, trust me, as positive as I am, I get down. I mean, my missus can tell you. My missus, it's just one of those things you need to go through, but you need to get up quick. But you have to feel the bump, otherwise you're not responsible. You know, you're not responsible. You have to feel the bump, but don't wallow in it, in self-pity. Woe is me. You get you down. Basically, what I do, you ask the question, I rest. I just rest. And in my resting, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm thinking. And then all of a sudden, the solutions start coming. Because it's all in your subconscious, by the way.
Yes, of course.
You understand? You just need to, it's like calling for a folder on the computer. You just need to find that folder and then call the solution out. So yeah, it's okay to get down, but it's not okay to wallow in pity.
Wow.
Yes.
I always say that it's good to cry, but don't stay crying, isn't it? The problem comes in when you continue to cry.
Yes.
But crying per se is not bad. It's normal with life. But if you continue to cry, so you have met you meet people that probably their parents died a year, 2, 3, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they're still mourning their parents. Meaning that they have lost focus, and because of that, they cannot do anything for themselves. That is where the problem is. The challenges are part of the journey. You cannot succeed in exclusive of failure. They are all intertwined. There is nobody that has got to the top without failing or not facing challenges. So it's all part of the journey. Even if we sit Prince William and his brother down now, they will be able to tell us their challenges in life.
You know, and some challenges are not related to money.
Of course.
You understand? Some challenges are related to money. But you asked part of the thing, you talked about the business journey, and you want us to wrap up, and that's good. But I want to share something with the audience. I want to bring this behind me. Very, very important. So what type of business to do? If you don't mind, let me just grab the whiteboard.
All right then.
So, all right. What type of business to do? One of the things... Sorry. I wonder if you can see the board. Can you see the board? Okay, let me do this. Oscar, you can see, yeah? Hello? Hello, Oscar. Oh, what's happened?
Ready?
Yeah.
I am there. I'm giving you a wide screen, so just go.
Give me the wide screen. Fantastic. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's go for it. Yeah, that's good. I learned this in the 90s. This is one of the most powerful things that you're going to learn in life, especially in the free world. I mean, I'm talking about the West here now. You know, it might not work in Africa at this moment in time where they're doing things to people, but in the West, there's two types of people. It's already predestined.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 95 percenters and there's a 5 percenters.
Mm-hmm.
54% of people are going to get to age 65 or retirement age broke. I'll explain to you why. Let's use a nominal figure of £1,000. According to pensions, which might not be there by the time we get to 65, by the way. Let's say you're working in this month of May and you're being paid £1,000 on your job. If April is when you retire, that £1,000 dropped to 300. But most people, as you know, Oscar said, they cannot make ends meet. So if you cannot make ends meet at 1,000, how are you going to make it meet at 300? Doesn't work. Then 36% of people are going to pass away. It has nothing to do with money. From the likes of Princess Diana to someone who just died of COVID or whatever, that's life. Why is that important? Some of the things that we put off, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it when I retire. You probably are not, who guarantees you retirement? You know, as far as I know, God does not give anybody a lease on life. Right? So you got that. Then 5% are going to work after 65, not because they want to, but because they have to. They have to pay the electricity bill, they have to help the grandkids and so on. So that's 95%. This is a very important table. 4% are financially independent. Money works for them, whether it's investment and so on. And it varies the sort of money they make. They make, 50, 60,000, millions, whatever, financially independent. And then you got the 1%. These are your Gates, your Dangotes of this world, that are the 0.01% people that are wealthy. They have sought out the problem that's in the Bible to say, a good man should leave an inheritance for his children's children. They've conquered that. So there's the 95 and 5%. Very important, right? Now, what we do, or the way we're trained, this formal education that we're going to go get, instead of getting the real education, is we're programmed to work this job. So we're programmed to work for the 5 percenters. People want to work for Google, IBM, and blah, blah, blah. And what the 5 percenters have in abundance is they have money. So you give them your most important asset, which is your asset of time, right? And they give you a paycheck. But watch where that paycheck is going. They give you a paycheck, and most people by the 14th of the month, they're broke. Fact, right? The reason why is you've given them your time, now you're going to give them your money. You say how? Well, you buy that Starbucks coffee, you buy that newspaper, you pay your rental mortgage, you pay your car insurance, you do this, you do that, the money goes back. So you just find yourself in a constant rotation. You just rotate, you're just spinning your wheels. Now, what happens after a period of time, you have people in this group that say, I don't want to be rich, wealth is bad. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. The cost of money and everything else. What they fail to realize is by you existing, by you breathing oxygen on a daily basis, you're making these people wealthy anyway. You're making these people be able to educate their kids in the best school going. You're able to make these people put diamond rings on their wife's fingers and live in whatever. You're doing it because they can't do it without you. So now what's the point? The business that you want to do is the business that serves these people. That's where the money is. That's where in a book called Thou Shalt Prosper, the rabbi said, Jews don't build businesses in villages. You have to go where the money is. So where's the money? Food, if you're good at it. Things like haircut that somebody needs on a repeat. It's not every day you buy a car, but soon when COVID will be gone by God's grace, we're all running to the barbers and the women are going to the hairdressers. These are the stuff that you take the simplest businesses and have a different vision. I tell people, I didn't build a 5-star business when we turned millions over. I built a 5-star business from day one. So you have to have a bigger image. You have to find something that you can serve this population so that you can live here. I got a call, or not call, a Facebook message from somebody I've never met in my life. Oh, I need some advice. Anyway, that particular day, I was less busy, so I replied and said, "What do you need advice?" Oh, I'm looking to set up a business selling designer shoes. I said, "Designer shoes where?" "In Sierra Leone." I said, "Are you mad? The people that can buy designer shoes in Sierra Leone come overseas to get it themselves. Find something. Go organize roast meat selling that the ordinary man does not even have to think about, but they need it, so they empty their pocket and give you that money. And then just build a system around that. But that's key. Find something that you can service these people here to be here. That's how it works. I hope you got that.
I don't know. I think we need to get to a physical class one of these days, man. to have some step out with us, Bimpong seminar where we are really, really going to teach people.
Yeah. I'm listening. It's gone. Can you see it? Oh. I'm back.
It keeps me thinking that, look, Oscar, there is a lot that you can do with your life. And that is an amazing, amazing, amazing. The question I want to ask people that are watching is, where do you lie in that quadrant? Where do you lie? And every part of the quadrant, all of us are qualified to be there.
Absolutely.
But it depends on where we want to stand in life. If you want to stand as an employee, it is good if you are comfortable with it. But if you think you can do more, you need to get into the 4% quadrant. And possibly that 1%.
Yeah.
Why not? Because those people, the only difference between us and them is that they took a vision and they ran with it.
That's it.
I was listening to Dangote that was today. And he was saying that when he started registering Alibaba, there was no internet in China. But internet was in the States and other European countries.
Yeah.
But it was about positioning before even internet came. And he said 3 months later, internet came.
Yeah.
And when he was registering the company, they said no, because there is no internet. We don't even understand what we were talking about. But today, look at where he stands. The fact that you have got a vision, but people today don't see, doesn't mean that it will not happen.
And it starts, you know what? It starts, it's something that you got to train. Me, when I came back from America, broken dreams and whatever else happened there with my relationship there, I mini-cabbed. When I'm mini-cabbing, I've crossed my heart. I've had people say, "Why are you doing this job? Why?" One woman argued with me one time in Clapham, says, "Don't do this job. You're sharper than this." I said, "I know. I'm biding my time. I just want to." But here's why. Because everything I do, whether it's to drop parcels like I was doing in America, I do with the passion. I do with my heart. So when I do the job, it's done. That's how you become. You don't wait till you own your own business before you give your all. Because you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know how to give your all.
Yes.
And there's one key point as well. God does not like ugly. If you want to go build your own business one day and you are stealing from your boss in terms of their time, you're not performing. One day when you have that business, you be prepared for your employees to do the same to you.
Payback time. Reggie, it's been an exciting discussion, and trust me, you need to be coming back and come back, because this platform, it has come to stay. This is what Oscar Bimpong wants to do for the rest of his life as part of his vision, is to bring education to our people and everybody that cares. And I believe that, I'm going to play over this interview over again.
Amen.
And why am I going to do? Because I just want to put pen and paper to some of the things that you said.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you are a very good person. A lot of people are really successful in life, but they don't even want to come on camera to share it.
No.
And there is one thing about you. You don't really care what people say.
No.
And you care about that one person that their life changes just because of this interview.
Absolutely.
And people don't know that is also a form of blessing.
Yeah.
That probably your business is also going on well just because you give it out freely.
Yeah.
You see, people think to give is always money. It's a big mistake.
Yeah.
Knowledge giving is even more powerful than money.
Absolutely.
Because that is, you are showing the person how to fish.
Yes.
And not to give the person fish all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the reasons why I cannot stop doing what I'm doing is that, you know, Reggie, sometimes I'll be walking on the streets of Accra, and a stranger will hold my hand and will say, "Are you Oscar Bimpong?" I say, "Yes." He said, "You don't know what you have done to my life." And because of you, I have started my business. Because of you, I've transitioned from having a job to being in my own business. Because of you. And this is what it's like. It makes me restless that how can I stop? And I think everybody should get this mindset that it is not easy, but it's achievable. If Reggie is able to do it, then Oscar people can also do it. But I can only do it if I learn from Reggie. Because if I'm here in London and I want to go to Birmingham, and Reggie has been to Birmingham before, Reggie is the best person to ask the way to Birmingham.
Absolutely.
And this is how black people, we don't have the humility to ask Reggie how to get to Birmingham. Because I can bet you, if Reggie has been on that road for years, Reggie should be able to even tell me where the police will be hiding.
Exactly.
Where the potholes are.
Yes, absolutely. No point. No, that's it.
I don't make the same mistakes that Reggie did. So, my brother, it's been an amazing discussion. I want you to look into the camera and tell everybody that is watching us, young people, older people, what do you want to tell them?
I think when you realize that the world is changing, work will not be what we know as work going forward. The 1%ers are widening their gulf of money, and what they're doing is to replace human beings with machines where they can. And we're participating in that process. When you go to the supermarket, you scan your whatever. That's somebody's job. You fly in, you print out your boarding pass. That was somebody's job that they've all eliminated so they could maximize their profit. So now more than ever, you have to search within yourself to see what you can do business-wise, where you can control your economics. Because if you can't control that, you can strike all you want, protest all you want. I don't see the Indians and Jews on the streets protesting. So you can do all that. If you don't have the economic power, then you have no power. That's the point.
If you don't have the economic power, then you have no power. That is really powerful. I'm going to put that quote in my book.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a very powerful quote. And if you are watching us today, I want you to understand that this program is on every Wednesday and every Saturday, 8 p.m. UK time, and that is 7 p.m. Ghana time and 7 p.m. Sierra Leone time, because now UK is in Ghana 1 hour. Now, yes. I want you to understand that we have got 4 powerful programs that we will be bringing to you in these 2 days. And one of them is what we are on now, and that is Step Out with Oscar Bimpong, where we interview experts, consultants, talented people, and people that have got a story to share that is so much amazing and inspiring. Then the second one is Step Out SME Focus. So if you've got a business and you want to showcase the product and services and tell us about what you do, you can also come on the show. Then the second one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. Any young person that is watching me from the age of 15 to 30 years, that you are pursuing a vision, that against all odds, you are making progress. I don't want to see you rich, but you have made progress. I want you to come on this show and come and talk about your business and advertise it. This is what we can use to help the African people. And trust me, the Step Out with Oscar Bimpong and the Step Out Youth Impact Zone is free of charge. We don't charge nobody because we are coming to share knowledge. And for the young people, we believe that if a young person watching, seeing the story of another young person that probably started their business with $50, but they have made a turnover of $2,000, and you have got $200 in your pocket, you'll be more than what? Inspired to go and start something with your $200.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, the Step Out SME Focus, we charge a little bit just to keep the platform going. Then the Step Out Authors Corner, if you have written a book and you don't have anywhere to share it, this is the platform for you. Come and talk about what your book is all about. And with that one too, we charge a little bit to keep the platform going. And I want everyone here, if you like today's discussion, just share this. Send on WhatsApp groups. Let people listen to this conversation, because we want to create a movement on this TV station, a movement that has positioned itself for educating anyone that cares and our Black people. Because it is time for us to take over. It is time for us to rule. But we can never rule without knowledge. We need the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom to really push forward. If we can become a strong community and an economic power, it is knowledge that we need, not money. Because the knowledge is going to bring out the money.
Absolutely.
So, Reggie, I thank you very much for today. It's been an awesome discussion. If I tell you I don't love what we have discussed today, I'm lying. And I can see all the comments. But before we go, let me read some few comments.
Okay.
Let me read some few comments. Josephine Agnes Mahoy says, very inspirational. Keep going. Then Josephine also said that, Reggie, you have a very good heart. May God continue to bless you. Amen. May your business continue to grow. One love.
Amen.
Then Mariatu Siddiq says, the brain need exercises too. Trust me, man. You need to feed it with the positives of life. Then Gal Starkin says, thank you, Uncle Reggie. This is Ben. Ben. Reggie says he greets you too. Then Mariatu says, yes. Gal Starkin also said, I'm listening with my 16-year-old Ben. That is really powerful. Then Gal also said, thank you very much, Mr. Cole. Mariatu was laughing. And Mariatu says, the process of life, we have to go through it.
Yes.
He also says, we feel sorry for ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
She also said, bless you, Reggie.
Thank you.
There are so many comments, Reggie. There are so many comments. These are people.
Everybody, thank you, everybody.
Yes, before we go, Reggie, please talk to people how they can get your book, where they can get your book, Compassionate Capitalism. Where can they get the book, please?
Okay, so two ways. You can get it through my own website, which is reginaldlarrycole.global. So not .com, reginaldlarrycole.global, or you can get it on Amazon. If you get it through my website, I post it myself because we're not at the office now. So I've got some here, which I will sign for you and date it and everything else. So yes.
Wow. Wow, that's powerful. I think there's another comment here. I really love to read that one. It says, Gal Starkin says, I have a passion for cooking, and I started at home, and praise God, I'm getting there. I now cater for weddings, etc. You know, she didn't go for a shop. She started at home.
Yeah,
that is starting from humble beginnings, isn't it?
Absolutely. And just to share, I'm not going to go into any personal. I know that lady. You see, it's a negative that happened that made her start at home. You see, and now she's got a business, a catering business. I bought her food and so on. I've eaten her food in other places. That's how you take your lemons, you make it into lemonade. You know? So yeah, that's it.
That's it. And Mariamati said, great host and guest. Thank you, Sir Reggie. Yeah. So I think we've really done a good job today.
Amen.
And Reggie, God richly bless you for your time.
Amen.
And I hope to see you more on this platform for us to share knowledge.
We'll come back. We'll do some specific, business subject like goal sets and stuff like that down the line. Thank you. God bless. Thank you, everybody.
God bless. And please share this to everybody. Share it on your WhatsApp group, everywhere. And God richly bless you for watching. Stay tuned this coming Wednesday. We have another powerful discussion, 8 p.m. the same time. Don't change the dial next Wednesday. Stay blessed and bye-bye.
Bye. See you later. Right. So
I'm excited because Step Out is back. For those that don't know, Step Out is a series of interviews and motivational segments designed to bring the best out of you. Therefore, we have designed 4 main programs for you. And the first one, which is the flagship program, Step Out with Oscar Bimpong. Step Out is Oscar Bimpong is where we interview experts, consultants, and talented people. The idea is to help shape your vision. The second one is Step Out SME Focus. This is where we interview business owners and showcase their products and services. Then the third one is Step Out Youth Impact Zone. This is where we interview young people succeeding against all odds. Then the last one is Step Out Authors Corner. This is where we give a platform to authors for them to share what their book is all about. So I can tell you there is an exciting journey ahead. And I'm so excited. And I want you to be part of this journey. Therefore, I will urge you to like our Facebook page and YouTube, dubbed T2i TV. Also, Step Out will be coming live every Wednesday and Saturday, 8 p.m. UK time. For further inquiries and for you to be part of this show, please check the tax bar for more information. Stay blessed and please don't forget to share. Thank you.